Hello from TED headquarters in New York City.
Where, did you know, 4% of us are from Toledo. I'm Emily, CCHS.
And I'm Susan from Perrysburg. Go Yellow Jackets!
It's so exciting to see the first TEDxToledo kick off.
We're at TED's annual retreat, or else we'd be there too, and we definitely want to say hi to our families. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Hannah.
Now we'd like to introduce your next speaker.
Stephen Bennett has a mission to paint a portrait of the world.
For the past 20 years, he's explored over 30 countries worldwide, seeking out indigenous and traditional people to paint.
He's here to tell us about his work. Please welcome Stephen Bennett.
Wow. Hello, everyone. Hi. Can everyone hear me all right? This is a story about my transformation as an artist. This is one of my paintings here. I started as a young man in art school, moved to New York City, became disillusioned with the whole art world there, didn't have much success, did many shows, but then took a trip. I went to Mexico. I went to the closest country I could find, ran across the border, and had a transformation there that involved being with the people. I don't know if any of you have been to Mexico, but these are some very warm and special people. I went to Mexico, and I got to know a local group of people on an island called Isla Mujeres off Cancun. Probably many of you have vacationed there. I went there in the 1990s and got to know the local people and started to paint them. And my transformation happened with children. If you saw me there with children, I know the kids were in my house and they were painting with me, and they were using wild colors. And I said, "This is fantastic. I want to do something like this." They were so relaxed. I was a very tight painter. I was a realistic painter. And I started to paint the local people that I could find on the island. This was my transformation. I was kind of leaving the New York world and kind of exploring out there on an adventure on my own. I'd rented a little house on the beach. This is Vincente, who is a shrimp fisherman that I got to know. And something happened while I was working with these people. This is Vincente's portrait. I got to know Vincente, and I used the colors that the children had painted in front of me. And I created something very new and different that was very exciting for me. I went on in the island and did an exhibit of the paintings. And this is where the amazing thing happened for me. Most art exhibits, people come and look at the paintings. They come in, they look, they walk around, they talk. At my exhibit, something funny happened that I'd never seen before. The people who I had painted came into the exhibit, they sat down, and they had a picnic in the exhibit. And then they walked around. Yeah, it was amazing. They walked around the exhibit, and they made fun of the people who they thought were funny. I had painted one of the local transvestite hairstylists, and everybody loved to joke around about him because I made him look very beautiful. He's on the right there. I think you can see him. But also, what happened that was really important was that the people who I had painted came to the exhibit with their family members and had this experience of being empowered. And I noticed that. And I left there and I said, I've got to continue with this. I've got to continue. I've got to search into this. This is a dynamic I want to learn more about. I was very lucky. I ran into the president of Panama. He had seen my work, and he invited me to Panama to do an exhibit. And so I had to go all around Panama for an entire year, finding every indigenous person that I could find, all of the singers, the artists, the dancers. And I did an exhibit there of 100 different paintings of the people that I met. And I slowly developed this idea of going to a place, living with its people, and painting these people, and then celebrating these people in an exhibit of their culture, an exhibit of who these people are, the diversity of this place. And in Panama, you can see my style changed a little bit. I incorporated photography into my painting because it was very hard to get people to pose for me. I don't know if any of you ever worked with a live model before. They usually fall asleep very, very quickly after entering your studio. So I had to incorporate photography, and I started to refine my style. I went from there on to Cuba, which is a very interesting experience. I don't know if any of you have ever done any border breaking into Cuba. Maybe I shouldn't be admitting that now here, I don't know. There's a lot of people who go to Cuba who shouldn't. But I had to go because I had learned so much about Cuba as an American. I wanted to know what was going on. I got into monochromatic colors there. If you look, this is something, I'm looking for ways to express who I am, make a painting that expresses the personality of the person, but also shares with others their culture and who they come from. This painting is called Kiss Me, I'm Cuban. This guy is yeah, isn't that nice? This guy is a cigarette roller in a cigarette factory who invited me around, showed me around, had a great time there. Then I went on to French Polynesia. In French Polynesia, you can see my style. It's one of my paintings from there. It's one of a very successful painting. I've now incorporated more colors, more realism into it, and was invited by the Ministry of Culture there to do an exhibit that would celebrate the diversity of the people of French Polynesia. And so I did a series of 60 paintings that were of all the different people that I met from all the different islands. And my style is being refined. I'm using colors to express myself, but also search for the personality that's in that painting. This is a Maori man who is a performer. This is a cooler experience, a darker experience. He's one tough guy. Then I went on to Easter Island, Rapa Nui. Have any of you ever been to Easter Island? What an amazing place. I highly recommend you go there. Fantastic. Then on to the Seychelles Islands. These are Creole people off the coast of Africa. A Creole mix of Portuguese and African people who live together there, have a beautiful culture. And I wanted to capture that in these colors. This is a beautiful girl from there. Then I went on to Africa, which really had such a strong effect. I lived for 2 years in Africa, had an amazing experience there, mostly with the Maasai people. I was in East Africa, and got to know them, lived with them, traveled with them, and searched for ways to find icons that represented these people that I was meeting. And this is one of my most successful paintings that I've ever made. This is a Morani warrior who has gone through his initiation and now has become a man. He's fantastic. Here is a bareback girl. Look at these colors. This is a very successful painting for me. And what I do is I look for ways for these paintings to be used in some way to benefit these indigenous people. And probably one of the reasons I'm here is because I got hooked up with some different organizations that are using it to help others. This is Namibia. This is the United Arab Emirates, where I met an Iranian man and then traveled across the Arabian Sea into Iran. This is Australia. Look at these guys. This is Bali, over in Bali. This is one of my most successful paintings because this Kalabit man came down out of the hills of Borneo, in the island of Borneo, and came to see his painting. It was such a success. This is Thailand. This is Papua New Guinea. That's a place you must go visit. It's an incredible place. The most interesting people. This painting is called Hulk of the Highlands. Look at that. Look how tough that guy is. These people live amazing lives. This is on to Morocco. This is Ethiopia, a beautiful country full of incredible diversity. And then last year I went to Mongolia, Tibet, and to China. This is a Tibetan girl in the Bakor. Fantastic girl. Look at these colors. Look at her culture. Look at the pride she has. What I found while traveling is that people who have a strong cultural identity, they are people who are psychologically stable. I found this happening wherever I went. Wherever there was a person who had an identity attached to their culture, they were very confident. And I said, this is incredible. I've got to continue to explore this and find ways. This is where my work is being used to help bring attention to the indigenous people. Through the United Nations Postal Administration, they're publishing stamps about indigenous people. That was 2010. This is 2009. They are putting out a series this year, 2012. This is NicoWater.com, where I donated my paintings. They're giving 100% of their profits to charity, which is an amazing thing in Africa and Nicaragua. There's Nico Water. It's now available here in Toledo, I think, at Fresh Market. What I did was I started a nonprofit organization called Faces of the World, and I go into communities and I work with kids, and I teach portrait paintings with them. And I found that if you can get a kid to make a painting while looking at one of his friends, this is an experience that empowers them. And I also tell them, I'm going to go off and I'm going to make paintings of a community. Tell me what's going on. They introduce me to their community. I get integrated into the community, and I learn about what's happening. And we do these portrait workshops. And I get ideas from these kids. Look at these colors. Look what these kids make. I'm amazed by children. here I am teaching. I do a lot of educational exhibits. I have one right now on Reynolds Road at the Maumee Valley Country Day School. If you want to come over, it's open another week there. Here's more of the kids, having a great time with them. So I'm on an adventure, trying to improve myself and trying to find ways to integrate my art into communities and integrate my art into other associations and businesses and corporations to help. And thank you so much for having me. Yeah.